Hey, we're back.
Hey, y'all.
It's been a few weeks.
I know. I put out some Facebook lives because why wouldn't I? You got to have a little fun, got to throw up a few little things out there. I will have to admit, and I've been meaning to go back to write a little post because last week I said all you need is a
You
bar.
went silent. Oh, you, you broke up in the middle of that, went silent. I'm like,
I'm here. I meant to say a bar spoonful, not a bar stoolful.
oh, okay.
I was like going because I was playing it back for somebody else, and I was like going, "Did I say barstool?" And sure enough, when I played it, I was dying. I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" Let's see who catches that and calls me out on it.
Mm,
So
well,
you've been dealing with a lot. You have a lot.
okay. So the reason we kind of postponed the show for a couple weeks was I went to Los Angeles for an event that our partner, our mentor, Craig Duswell, was hosting with someone else in the music industry. And I wanted to go check it out,
Right.
kind of hang out, help Craig a little bit. Um, the difference is I don't like flying. How many of you guys know I hate flying? I will do it if I have to, but I hate it.
You must be related to my brother because my brother does not fly.
I would
Will
rather
not.
not fly. I really wouldn't. So I mean, and this one here was the case. It's like it's a 2-day drive. I get to see friends along the way.
Okay. Those
Um,
are I've done those road trips where I was calling people going, I'm going to be there at about this day on this time, whatever it is. It's like, can we have coffee? Can we have lunch? Whatever it is. And it was a lot of fun going up to, from Southern California to Northern California and just making the stops. And sometimes it was just coffee. Sometimes it was just a 15-minute, hey, I haven't seen you. Here's a hug. How you doing? And then I kept going. And it was a road trip. That was fun. I
well, I mean,
haven't done that in a while.
I was in El Paso,
Oh,
your old stomping grounds, and I
yes,
drove
I was going to
through.
say, I know people there. I could have connected you,
Well,
people
no,
that would have hooked you up.
I stayed in Las Cruces. Now, you know, I used to have another podcast with a lady named Katrina Garcia.
Yes,
Katrina lives in Las Cruces.
right.
So I was able to stop and spend the night with her and her husband in Las
Oh,
Cruces,
nice.
which Las Cruces is a
It's right
beautiful
there.
town.
Oh, yeah, it's cute. It's adorable.
Yeah,
It's right there.
they live like the airport side, the Las Cruces airport side, right?
Okay.
So they're
Yeah.
going up the hill the other way, and the back of their house goes west,
Okay.
but they have a rooftop, one of those rooftop patios
Oh, nice.
up, and I was able to watch the sunset. All
Yes.
right, or watch the sun settings, viewing the mountains. All right, which the mountains on the east side of Las Cruces are what's so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And then we're watching some of the lights flicker on and come on, which is, I mean, Las Cruces is a beautiful town to be in that position up on that hill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was able to do that with her. And then I got up the next day and drove to Phoenix. My connection to Phoenix didn't work out because one of my mastermind members who's in Phoenix,
Okay.
he ended up was going on vacation and wasn't home. And on the way back, I was coming back from Palm Springs. We were going to stop in Phoenix to visit my wife's cousin, and we stopped there on the way back to have dinner with them, kind of hang out for the night, and enjoy time. But then I went on to Palm Springs, and really I stayed in Mesa, not Palm Springs,
Okay. Yeah.
close to Indio, because the event was actually in Indio.
Okay.
All right, which was really the event space for that was catty cornered to the Coachella type ground,
Oh, yeah.
and the estate we were on during Coachella, Patron used that estate.
Oh, okay.
So I had to bring that up, right? The fact that it was all decked out like a week and a half earlier, it was all decked out with Patron.
Right.
Not that you and I ever drink Patron, but we got a little bit different taste.
Right.
But
Very nice.
from there, it was like, my wife flew there in, and we decided to use part of that as a vacation to drive home.
Okay.
So we stopped the first night with her cousin. The second night, we're like, you know what? Let's drive to, and we should have went further. Went got to Winslow, and
Okay.
stop in Winslow State Park. And then there is a great hotel that is a great restaurant called the Turquoise Room in Winslow. You're
Okay.
ever in Winslow, go to the Turquoise Room for either lunch or dinner.
Okay.
I've done both. I've done a lunch there and I've done a dinner there. They have a great wine selection, a great alcohol selection, and oh my God, the food choices there will blow your mind. All right. It's one of those really unique places you got to visit. And it's like about the only, I want to say, experience food and drink wise in Winslow.
Oh, okay.
Everything in Winslow is like fast foods or a small hole, a small dive bar. Which I'm not criticizing them. But if you want an outrageous experience, do the Turquoise Room. So, and we did that. But then our last day, we went from there to Amarillo, Texas, where we stayed at the Barfield Hotel, which was featured in the last series of Yellowstone.
Oh, okay.
And they have a speakeasy in the basement.
Oh, fun.
Which I didn't take any pictures in the speakeasy, and I realized, all right, and here's why. All right. We just crossed the New Mexico-Texas border.
Okay.
And 7 miles into Texas, there was an accident that we sat on the road for 4 hours.
Oh.
And there's nowhere to go. You're in the middle of nowhere. And I was frustrated and pissed off. So we got to our hotel about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So we had to quick eat dinner and then go down to the speakeasy. And I was worn out. I was pissed off, frustrated. So like, I really didn't get to experience it like I should have.
Okay.
But it's a unique experience and I will go back.
Very cool.
So
yeah, I got stuck one time coming back from Vegas to LA.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to have flown that day, but one of my friends like, hey, can we just drive back together? And I was like, so I canceled my flight. I should have just flown 40. Yeah. It was at a 50-minute flight, whereas 4 hours. And you're on the 15. There is nowhere to go in the middle of the desert. It was like, wow. And it was because turns out somebody had flicked their cigarette out the window and started a fire that crossed over on both sides. It was like, oh my goodness. It was blocked the entire freeway. So that for 4 hours, it was crazy. I'm like, okay.
But then, so then I get home today and like I had a great weekend at home. I almost caught up around the house, but like I'm still behind on work and there's people who want appointments with me to discuss their website. But, hoping to get caught up this week. And this morning,
I was going to say, are you going to be able to? Are you going to be able to?
Let me pour my vodka as I say this one. This morning, I had to go to jury duty here in Denton County, Texas.
Okay.
So I go in for jury duty. There's 120 some odd people. After the first thing of, questions, come up and tell the judge if there's anything you got to get out of it. And I'm like, I really have nothing to get out of it. I have no medical issue. No really doctor's appointments that I have to get out. No flights. I mean, they gave the criteria. So then they go down. And this is what disqualifies you. And there's nothing really that disqualified me. This is excuses. There wasn't anything on the excuse list that I could use to get out. Right? Unless they ask questions. That's all I can say. Unless they would have asked me certain questions, then I would have had to answer, and they probably would have disqualified me for it. Not saying I was disqualified, saying they probably would have disqualified me for asking the right question. So I go up to the room. We go up to the second round. They go through and pick 60 of us to go upstairs and ask questions. Go upstairs, ask 60 of us. They're asking us all questions and doing all kinds of things about what the case is about. And I look at the case, and I immediately text my partner going, hey, I got to check on something. And my partner got back to me. It's not really an issue, but it's this close to being an issue. This close. And probably if I just had brought up the issue, but I didn't have the full details of the issue while I was there.
Okay.
All right. Of stuff that happened to my partner and I in the one rental property we're in. So I couldn't say anything because I really didn't have the details. Well, of course, after I get back home And I've been selected for the jury. I found out the details. That if I brought the details, I guarantee you they would not have picked me. That's how close it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not giving you the details. I'm not going to tell you what the case is. I can't say what the case is. I couldn't. She said I couldn't go online and tell them. She didn't say I couldn't go online and say I was in a case.
Love it.
Yeah. Now, truthfully, all right. You know, Gladys and I talked about it behind the curtain because we can. We're friends.
Yeah.
All right. But for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to share with you until the case is over. So if you want to remind it in a week or two to come back and ask me, I can come back and tell you after the case is over, and I can tell you how close I was. In the meantime, Gladys says, "Do you want to drink tonight?" I said, "Yeah. How about vodka?"
So I brought up my Gumpers vodka because it's got a G on there. Look at that. There's my G. And it is local. It is Oregon. And made with American corn and pure Oregon water. 40% alcohol by volume, 100, it's 80 proof. The other thing that I brought out was the Blue Coat American Dry Gin, which is pretty yummy. And this is distilled from Grain, Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia. So I had to bring this one out. And so these were the two that I thought, you know what? Because I thought, well, I want some fizzy water. So San Pellegrino, Chiao Cherry.
I'm drinking some fizzy water too, so you know I'm drinking some Liquid Death, which...
Okay. And so one gin, one vodka.
Oh, okay.
So I put it into, and then I just poured half of it into one, poured the other half into the other. So these are my two that I went with because why not drink my water? And I probably only put about 1 ounce on each one because these are little cups. So
I probably should try that. Come to think of it a little bit in here, but let me mix up a little. Let me mix while we're doing. This is a vodka that my wife picked up. Which how many of you guys have seen the Absolute? We were on the road. She's like, I gotta get vodka to make our. And literally, there was a Costco right next to our hotel, so she probably walked over. And there was a liquor store, like right next to our hotel. I think it was called Bevmore. And it was literally right next to our hotel. Like literally, like I could stumble across the back parking lot to it. Literally behind my truck, I had to step up to the next part of it. That's it. And that's probably what she got because she's probably looking for something there that was just there.
Yeah, I love Bevmo. They have like good deals, especially if you're a member.
Yeah.
You get all sorts of discounts. Yeah, definitely.
Little boy coming in. He wants to say hi to everybody. He's not drinking vodka, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. Hi. You show him your way.
Because I don't want to.
Oh, no.
So I had some leftover. I went to a barbecue on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I kept hearing, that's Gladys's salsa. They didn't say, I didn't hear anybody else's name being named when they were getting stuff, but they were like, apparently they liked my my concoction here. And so I kept hearing, yeah, that's Gladys's. Gladys made that. So I thought that was cute.
Oh, he's going, wait a minute, Grandpa. What are you putting in your glass? Sorry, this is Grandpa's drink.
Oh. So this little salsa here, I've had it for many years, probably 20, 25 years. It's called Aztec salsa. I made it for one of my friends. She had a party and she goes, and because she's Mexican, she says, no, this is Mayan salsa. So it's black beans and corn drained, avocado, tomatoes, purple onion, green onion. And I've added other things over the years. I've added mango, I've added cucumber. I always go back to the original. And then you mix a good seasoned Italian dressing with a 1/4 cup of olive oil and a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. You mix that together. I put in a little mason jar, put the lid on it and shake it all about, do the hokey pokey as I turn myself around. And then I pour it over everything that's been chopped and you mix it just gently because you want to fold it. Otherwise the avocado might get a little too creamy, but it's all chunks. So cut it, to your liking. And tomato, did I say tomato? I think I did say tomatoes. It is absolutely delicious. It just tastes really good. You don't have to add any other seasonings because the Italian seasoning is the seasoning. What I did notice though, is at this time I used low sodium corn and low sodium black beans. And so it has a slightly different flavor when you go low sodium, when you get the full sodium of a can. So it's just slightly different. So I thought that was interesting. But it's great because you can use it as a dip with your chips, or you can use it as a side. I've done that. I put it over fish, and I almost brought fish today, but I thought, well, I don't want to stink up the office, but nobody's here, so I would have been okay. And then, of course, I brought out some pepper jack cheese, and I already ate my pickles because I had some little baby dills. So I had little snacks. And you have, what do you have? You're going to one-up me on this one, aren't you? Oh, lost your volume. Yeah, I can't hear you.
All right, so yeah, I have a little bit of steak tonight.
Okay.
We had steaks last night, put them on the grill. And one of the things I wanted to do, because I wanted to bring it up tonight, was whenever I reheat a steak, I try to chew 1 or 2 pieces by itself, which I was when the show started. But usually on reheated steak is when I break out the sauce. All right. And we were joking about this last night at the table. All right. We call it the Civil War treatment.
Okay.
You know
why?
what the Civil War treatment in sauce?
Just a little dip. A1. Okay.
Because back in 1862, in the middle of the Civil War, you know what they said? The guys were just sitting around the campfire going, you know what this really could use is a good steak sauce. I realize we're fighting over slavery and all, but we could really use a good steak sauce. And I know that's a joke because it says established in 1862 on the bottle. Anyway, and I always like to bring that up because I think it's hilarious as hell that in the middle of the Civil War, that's the one thing you're trying to think about. Not peace for the country, but you think a steak sauce bring them together? Anyway.
That's important stuff.
Not as important as the vodka. But anyway.
So you said you had a couple of vodkas. So you have your Absolute. What else did you have? Pull out.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, I got this Western Sun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually am liking this Western Sun.
Okay.
All right. And I get the feeling that, I mean, it's, and again, I had to go get it plain because most of the bars around here have it in a flavored versions.
Okay.
They don't have it just the original. And to me, if I'm going to taste an alcohol, whether it be vodka, it'd be moonshine. Before I'm going to taste your flavored versions,
you want the original.
It
Yeah.
better be founded on an original quality product. Western Sun is a really good quality product, so I got to give it that. So, and I've yet to meet them. I know they're 15 miles from my house. I probably should go up there because that's now the second or third shout out they've gotten on the show.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can get
You seen if you can get it up there? I don't know if you can.
I don't know that I can. Keg and bottle. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. There is no. Oh, you know what? Total Wine and More might have it. Okay. So let me look up because that's the closest one. I'm going to see if I can find it there because if anybody's going to have it, it's going to be
Total Wine because they're probably more of a national distributor.
Yeah. But it depends on, when you have a controlled state and a non-controlled state, actually they do. Western Sun, they have the blueberry.
Oh.
Yeah, they have the
blueberry. Decide to get it in the blueberry, or maybe we should do an episode where I actually send you some up.
Okay.
All right. And try it. Because again, I'm of the theory that we should try the plain before we try the flavors.
Right. Yeah.
To me, that says a lot about a product is how good the quality is before you have to add the sugars to it.
Yeah, because once you start putting other flavors in there, you're masking the original flavor.
Yes.
I remember one time when one of my friends, when I was moving from El Paso, she came out from Northern California, and she's the one that got me into wine tasting. We went to a wine festival, and it's August, so it's hot out. Actually, yeah, it was August, and it was like so hot. And there's all these different local wineries, but most of them had their wine, they made them a spritzer. Yeah. And I'm like, if that's the way you're putting your wine out there, that means it's not really good wine because you're now turning it into a spritzer. I want to taste the actual wine. Needless to say, I bought none of the wine that they were offering.
Well, no, I mean, you and I created the show because you and I talked about original whiskeys, right? Like our first episode was pure vodkas, right? We, it's got to have a foundational taste matter to it.
Right.
It's just that's like going to the coffee shop and getting the cheapest, crappiest espresso and just dousing it with milk and sugar. What's the purpose?
Right.
If you're washing out the original flavor palette that comes with the product, well, then you can wash out any cheap vodka with that. You need
Right.
quality vodka. Just Tim's opinion.
Right. Well, we talked about that when we're mixing something. It's like, no, you would not use this to mix, like the tequilas.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one you would use to mix with the mixed drink, a margarita or whatever it is. And this is the one you're going to sip. So same with, I'm not going to use a scotch to mix it into a drink. I'm not. I'm going to use a whiskey or a bourbon. And then again, it's some whiskeys and some bourbons, because some of my whiskeys and bourbons, I'm not going to put into a mixed drink. I want to have that just by itself. And there's certain bourbons that I will put into an old fashioned because it's just going to taste better. But it's also a bourbon that I would sip on because of the old fashioned. So,
well, I mean, it's funny you say that though, because Craig and I have been known to go places and we have our Angel's Envy old fashioned.
Right.
Angel's Envy by itself is one damn good bourbon, one damn good rye, right? But that also makes it one damn good old fashioned. Right. Saturday night we did the Mother's Day thing because like we chose a restaurant Saturday night rather than Sunday.
Okay.
And I had my typical Buffalo Trace.
Right.
My mom chose to have a Buffalo Trace old fashioned.
Oh.
Believe it or not, I tasted it and I went, way too sweet. To me, Buffalo Trace has all the flavors I need. I don't need to add sugars.
Right.
All right. If you'd have taken about half the sugar in that, it probably would have been great old fashioned for me.
Right. I know I went somewhere where the bartender, she put too much simple syrup in there, and I was like going, oh yeah, no. I'm like, too much.
Well, the other thing that you should do with a Buffalo Trace old fashioned, my mom brought this up, is that's Buffalo Trace is one that you should use your smoke kit on.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. You think about it. I mean, you taste Buffalo Trace. The smokiness will add to that flavor, as opposed to an Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy is a little more on the sweeter side, and I probably don't know as though I'd like the smoked aspect to it. There's certain ones I want the smoke to, and there's certain ones I don't, and that's all because of it comes down to the base flavor. If you like the base flavor, there's a lot of tricks you're not going to want to do to it because it's going to hurt the base flavor.
Right.
Or you're only going to want certain things to accent the base flavor. In that case, Buffalo Trace. Had we done the Buffalo Trace with the old fashioned, probably about a little bit less sugar, and smoked it, I'm telling you, it would have been a killer old fashioned.
Good deal. I'm going to take a picture of the bottle with the my two drinks here, and the Ciao San Pellegrino, because I love it. Yes, thank you. That's way too cute. I love it. Oh, that is so way too cute. You are adoring it.
But I'm drinking them out of my Iron Wolf glasses, by the way.
Okay.
So the person running this event of Craig's, it was this other partner of Craig's, John, his daughter.
Okay.
And I got to talk with his daughter and son-in-law. I got to talk with her husband, and they gave me some of the extra alcohol that was given to them to bring home. And I got I got a couple of good Jacks. I got a Jack Apple, a Jack Regular, and a Jack Cinnamon.
Okay. Yeah.
Jack Cinnamon's going to be made into my barbecue sauce, as you all know.
If you do you have access to rum chata?
Yes.
So rum chata with the cinnamon.
Yeah.
Very yummy.
Okay.
Very yummy. It's a 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
I think you're gonna like it.
Anyway, I'm telling this couple about, they're saying they're coming down to South Texas to visit, or to the Hill Country. And I said, hey, when you're down there, you got to go check out this distillery called Iron Wolf. To which the husband goes, "We've been there." And I'm like, that's like someone from South Florida talking to you about Trail Distillery.
Right.
Right? Like they're like, how have you on this part of the country heard of this dinky little place?
It's just fun stuff. Fun stuff. So yeah, this blue coat is very smooth. It goes well with the cherry. This is really yummy. It's just giving it a little additional flavor. The vodka is a little bit more subtle, so that tastes pretty good also. So both the Gompers vodka and the blue coat go well with the San Pellegrino. I usually end up doing LaCroix, sometimes a limoncello with the vodka and then a slice of lemon. And that is very refreshing. I've also done it with the blackberry. The tequila with the mojito LaCroix, that one is really good. That has good flavor to it, a good combination there. And then you can put in a slice of lime or just a little squeeze of lime in there, and that'll taste very refreshing. So now that we're into spring, summer coming up, you can start doing those fun drinks. I did have ice in here and it melted. So the rest of my ice that I had in here, that's pretty melted too. I mean, this is my last big piece. Everything else is slush. But that's some of the fun things that I've been playing with. Tomorrow, for those that are part of the Insiders Club, probably heard, but for those that did not know, I will let the cat out of the bag. We are going to be doing a Negroni making with aviation gin.
Okay.
So that'll be an afternoon. I'm going to see if I can do a Facebook Live. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'll take pictures most definitely. We'll see if they allow me to do the Facebook Live. I didn't ask about that, but I'm hoping. So it'll be a new way of making a Negroni. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will be checking back and letting y'all know how that went.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Sometimes they do cool things like that. So just fun, different alcohols, because each one, especially when you get with an ambassador, they will bring out, some of the nuances, some of the beauty things, that it's like, look out for this. Mm-hmm. And that makes it fun. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, one of the things that we're talking about, check out things, only because in Craig's world, Blasco, who is actually the ambassador for Liquid Death, as well as he is also the bass player for Ozzy Osbourne and Rob Zombie.
Okay.
But if it wasn't for that, I would have tested this out. I love their seltzer. They're not heavily
carbonate.
Pellegrino. They're more heavily taste. They're more of a light taste and a seltzer water. And the seltzer water is not like a San Pellegrino burn. It's a light fizz. Okay. So, I mean, it's become very different. And there's two flavors I really like. I like their cherry one, and this one here is their, I think this one is orange. It's sweet. And they have unique names to them. So it's like Squeeze to Death or something like that, or Cherry Assassin or Cherry Obituary or something. They're unique names, but still, they're seltzer waters that are not
overly
masking,
carbonated.
Trying to heavy mask it. It's not to mask the sugar out.
Right. I've tasted their regular and their lime. I think it's a lime, and I was kind of like, it's fine.
The lime one I'm not so big about, and I actually have one of their lime hydration packs that I've done in regular water, and I just didn't like it much. Yeah. So the cherry, they actually have a Dr. Death, which is close to Dr. Pepper, but not close enough for me. They have a cold one. I haven't tried that. And they have a grapefruit one, which I love. I know you don't like grapefruit, but yeah, the grapefruit one is it's refreshing, just like the regular grapefruit seltzer would be. So, but it also, like I said, tonight I mixed it with vodka.
Okay.
You did that, so I mixed it with vodka, and it actually goes very, very well as a seltzer and vodka. It'd probably go well with gin too.
Oh yes, and the thing is that sometimes when you do something like an orange, it's as though you're adding citrus to your drink.
To your drink.
You know, it just adds a little something. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just seltzer water. It's adding a little bit of flavor in there without adding calories, without adding sugars. So if you're getting the right seltzer, you shouldn't have any sugars added.
Yeah. And I forget what
This
the
one
sugar
has
is in this. I want to say it's like stevia or something in this one, not
right.
sugar.
This one has 1 gram of sugar and 25 milligrams of sodium and 2 grams of total carbohydrates. So there is a little bit more added to this. And this is, you know, from Italy. And if you're drinking San Pellegrino in Italy, it'll taste different than if you're having it here. But it's so funny how it says 0 grams of sugar added is what it says on the can right there. But then when you look at the label, it says total sugars 1 gram. So they're not adding any sugar to it, but at the same time, it might be that the sweet cherry is what's adding that.
Yeah, they're saying that this one here is 2 grams of sugar. So, and I'm having a hard time reading it because it's a dark can.
They all are.
Actually, old eyes don't read dark cans very well.
No, old lady eyes here. Yeah, I was told, you know, somebody called me something and I'm like, what the hell's a cucha? And then I had to look it up. So in Colombia, apparently it's the way you called, you know, old people. So, but
However,
not that
I will say the one unique thing I've learned about Liquid Death was the reason. Originally, it was a brand because they were trying to put water in beer.
okay.
But one of the main things was that they're a very conscious company, and this is one of the most recyclable, most percentage of material can be recycled out of this can, as opposed to I don't have a plastic bottle.
Glass.
Plastic bottle cannot be fully recycled. I didn't know that. We always just assume because we get the recycle emblem on a plastic bottle.
Right.
It is. When this whole can, this entire can is made of aluminum and can be recycled.
We'll tell you that Ford, because I got to go to Ford a couple of times through my friend Kathy. She sent me to talk about eco-friendly things, and Ford flew me and a bunch of others, podcasters and bloggers, you know, influencers. But their, I think it was their Taurus, a lot of what they have, their components within, are all made with recycled bottles.
Wow.
So yeah, so Ford, I will put in a plug for them this time because they were the only car company that did not take a handout when all the car companies were taking handouts from the government. They said, nope, not doing it. They reduced their water intake because some of their process requires a lot of water. And the way they started utilizing their water and recycling within, they reduced their water consumption. They reduced their expenses. They started using more recycled material. So they became more eco-friendly when all the car industry were having issues. They were already in the process of finding better ways of doing their job, which was really cool. So they're truly an industry leader. And I mean, I'm more of a Ford pickup girl than their vehicles, but to see the but when you see what they've done when it comes to being eco-friendly, that has been amazing. And plus, on top of that, I got to go to the Detroit International Auto Show, and I got to walk on the field of the Detroit Lions. So I went into their dressing rooms. I was on the 50-yard line. I was wearing a dress, so I did not try to kick the football, you know, through the.
I'm just curious, in Detroit, you know, being a Cowboy fan, how did it feel to be in a winning team stadium? I'm sorry, I had to.
Of course you did. Of course you did. You're just wrong. This was like 2012, 2013, you know, so it's been a little bit, you know.
Oh, so back when they only half sucked.
Yes, exactly.
They were still trying to work up the sucking real bad.
My goodness. Oh gosh, of course.
the Dallas Cowboys. All right, and now, well, no, and now the Dallas Mavericks, because of the fact of like, are the only two teams I'm really ever going to pick on, other than we're both going to pick on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, of course, we have to
We
because
both have to pick on
Craig.
Sorry, Craig, the Kansas City
Yeah.
Chiefs. For those of you who missed the episode where I had to wear the Kansas City jersey, I expect
that's what you get.
moment now if he's watching.
That's what you get for doing this. But it was funny. So I went to a conference a few weeks back, and day 3, because it's you move around, you meet somebody new, to make connections. So I changed my seat, and then I was like, oh, who's sitting here? I was like, nobody. So I'm putting my stuff down. As I'm putting my stuff down, I see this little wallet that has the Dallas Cowboys star, and then of course I have I don't have it in here. My little wallet, my little purse that has the Dallas Cowboys star. So I moved it closer to that one, and I took a picture because I thought it was cute. So we hit it off because we're both. And I said, "Oh yeah, you're a Cowboys fan," and she's like, "How'd you know this?" And then I was like, and I showed her the picture. She's all, "Send it to me." Well, then later on, as we're going through the conference day, there was whatever came up. Somebody yelled from across the room. Because they brought out Wooten as a sample, and somebody yelled, "Go Bruins!" And then my person here next to me says, "Go Trojans!" And I said, "And I thought I liked you," So it was just this funniness, of UCLA and USC, because growing up in LA, I was a USC fan, and she's UCLA fan. She's a USC fan, so I'm like, I don't know if I can like you. You like the Cowboys, but you like USC. I don't know if this jives. So that was just kind of where you could connect with somebody with one team, and then just like when you have different
teams, right? And I'm not a football guy per se, except if the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, I'm excited. All of a sudden, I'm interested, right? If the Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm really excited. But they don't have to win the Super Bowl to beat the Cowboys. They do that in the regular season a couple times.
So there was this meme that says, the Cowboys are doing so well, and watch them, and then they start going down this hill, and then they lose control and they run into the trash cans, and that's usually the Cowboys are doing so well, and all of a sudden they just have to crash, and burn at some point. It happens. So long as the 49ers don't win another Super Bowl before the Cowboys do, I'm okay with that.
Oh, well, yeah. The 49ers have been, not to pick on the Cowboys, but the 49ers have been to the Super Bowl so many times since they won in the 90s before the Cowboys, and they can't win a Super Bowl anymore. So
that's because they're waiting for the Cowboys to win, and
no, I think they forgot how after they beat the Cowboys, they didn't care.
Oh,
they don't even put an effort in anymore.
They both have gotten the same equal amount of wins. However, you got the Steelers that have outbeat them, and there's one other team that I can't remember who it is.
Didn't the Patriots beat them too? I think the Patriots beat them too.
Yeah, they have 6 instead of 5. I try not to think of those things.
Okay, but let's be fair. Tom Brady was a fucking awesome player. He's not playing anymore, so I will say that. When he was playing, I hated it.
Right.
Now that he's done, he makes a great commentator. I like him.
Yes. Oh, yes, you're right. And then he's got that stupid smile that just makes me laugh. He's just like every time he smiles, and he would do that when he was a quarterback. It's just stupid smile, and you're like, really, dude? But as a commentator, it's just fun to watch. I have the opportunity.
I love him as a commentator.
Yes. So there's an event going on in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, next month, June, and I'm debating if I'm going to go because Tim Tebow's going to be there. Just to meet Tim Tebow.
It could be worse. The commentator, they could be there. You know where I'm going.
You leave Aikman out of this, all
No,
right?
no. Aikman was a great player. I love Aikman. I used to clean his car. He's a great guy.
You get him up here.
Yeah, no. I see you guys know. Yeah. Troy Aikman was one of my customers when I had car wash business. But no, I'm going with the one that like nobody wants to hit with the Cowboys quarterback.
Romo, the one that's up here that couldn't win a freaking Super Bowl. Demi Romo. I want to just, I want to just cover him up because I'm like, you got Staubach there, you got, Aikman, and then there's Romo that couldn't win a damn Super Bowl. I really do, but I'm trying to.
Don't know Romo. That's what I call him. Don't know Romo. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, don't get me started.
But to take sports into this, all right. The Dallas Mavericks are taking a very good lesson from the Cowboys. Get rid of your best players, all right, and tank the team. Which now I'm really seriously thinking. If you notice, all of my Mavericks gear has been removed. Mm-hmm. I am really thinking about putting Luka, Lakers, right there.
I've been watching the Lakers lately, and I was so rooting for them. Yes, they lost. It was like, but Luka, oh my goodness! And one of my friends is sings that song from 1980 something. My name is Luka. I live on the second floor. Oh my goodness, it's like every time. But man, when he is hot, it's amazing. So, growing up in LA, I was a Lakers fan way back when. And then I left them alone for a little bit for various reasons. And so now I'm like, okay, I think I can get behind the Lakers again.
But they still have LeBron James. Just letting you know.
Yes, little Mr. full of himself, but we'll leave that one alone. Let's not pay attention to that. So it's okay.
I'm still hoping that now my hopeful is this is me in the NBA, and I'm not a fan. I don't follow it, but the team I want to see win now is the Knicks.
Huh?
Because of Jalen Brunson, who left, he was a Dallas Maverick, and he went up to New York. I want to see Jalen Brunson get a ring.
Got it.
All right. If Jalen Brunson, I don't want Boston to win again. Boston beat the Mavericks last year.
So it was funny. So today, as I was leaving my place, one of my neighbors, her and her husband always go out and they're always smoking, in this one area, 100 feet from the building, whatever. And she's wearing this purple.
100 feet from the building.
All right. And there's this one apartment complex that there's like 3 people that are always out on the sidewalk. They literally sit on the sidewalk with their feet out. It's hilarious. But anyway, so she's wearing this purple and gold, and I had to do a double take. And I said to her as I'm getting into my vehicle, I said, for a second there, I thought you had a Lakers sweatshirt on. And she makes this face because she had a Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's right.
But purple and gold. I thought it was Lakers. I'm like, okay. And apparently not. And apparently that was an insult. And I'm going, ooh, shit.
Wait. What college is purple and gold?
College, purple and gold. Ooh.
It's
TSU.
You and I celebrate on this show.
Not Gonzaga.
It's a college team.
You got to give me a little bit more because
they're closer to me than they are you.
Well, I said TSU or TCU.
No, TCU is purple and white.
Ah, okay. Purple and gold. It's not the.
We would celebrate that city about February. You and I.
Why am I struggling with this one? You're making me think. February.
What? Wait a minute. What would you and I celebrate in February?
Besides Mardi Gras.
This podcast.
What?
It's before Easter.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of the one Groundhog Day.
No. Real party celebration.
Well, besides Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras. What team is in that state?
Well, it's gold and black is the Saints.
No. Nope.
The New Orleans Saints.
College team.
College. Who the hell's in I don't know what universities in freaking Louisiana.
LSU is purple and gold as well.
Really? I mean, I remember their gold colors. I didn't know they were purple also.
Very similar, not exact colors, but very similar in colors. That always have made me go. It always made me think LSU was in LA, and LSU is Louisiana State University. Yeah,
It's funny. There was somebody that went to what is it? USC. She kept saying she went to USC, and we realized University of South Carolina, and we're like, you're in LA. You do not say you went to USC. You say University of South Carolina. Because if you say USC out here, it's University of Spoiled Children. I mean, University of Southern California.
Yes, we have our opinions on this show.
No, not at all. We don't have opinions. We just share information. So yeah, so we corrected her.
And the better the alcohol is, the better the opinions come out.
Then there's that.
Yeah, just saying. So on my travels, the one thing I carried with that my mom got me for Christmas was a lot of my little mini, Buffalo Traces. I carried them with me almost everywhere. I'll probably have a few of them stashed in my backpack for this week at the freaking courthouse. You can drink on lunch break, can you?
Do I have?
I didn't see anywhere in the rules that said during. Yes, nowhere in the rules did I see that while you're on jury duty you can't drink alcohol.
So that was in my travel backpack because that was when I was on my trip 2-3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks. It was March, so it might have been a month ago now. I've been carrying that Buffalo Trace. It was just they gave me a double, and I put one in my drink, and I put the other one in the backpack.
Wait a minute. Craig's last event, when I did my speech, I walked up to the front of the room, opened it, poured it into a cup, and did my talk with it. And I can't remember if I mentioned the Like the Way You Drink podcast, which anyway.
And I will be going to Dallas in August for eWomen. I'm going to be on the stage on Thursday at 7. So I have stage time. Yeah, and I also have another presentation to another group. I had my first paid speaking gig earlier this month, and then my next gig is next month with another group, and then in August I will be on the eWomen main stage. So
good for you.
Moving on up in the world of speaking. What am I going to be doing in Dallas?
I said, while you're in Dallas, what are we doing?
Oh, yes. I will give you the dates. We'll figure it out. We got to do something. I might come in a couple days early.
I'll find a place for you to crash up here.
Excellent. Perfect. Yeah. Fun stuff. Yeah, I just got confirmation. I just need to, take care of a few other things, including flights and stuff.
Yeah. Get me your VIP stop by ticket for eWomen. I'll make all kinds. I'll even be your chauffeur.
I love it. This is my assistant.
Yeah. Guess who's back? Here he comes. He didn't get to see me much today because I wasn't here.
Got it. So he wants to make sure that he finishes off the podcast with us.
Yes, he's here to finish off the podcast with us. All right. He's Grandpa's boy. And no, he is not drinking alcohol with us, but he does make appearances on the podcast. He's our mascot, even more.
So we will see you all next week. Before we take off, just remember the Insiders Club. Make sure you go to likethewayyoudrink.com and sign up. You do need to be 21 or over because you have
to be 21 to be part of the club. I'm sorry. Yes. It's just the way the rules are with alcohol, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. And you get to have first dibs on multiple things, having events that you get to go to, and also you get to tell us, what you want to see on the podcast. And it is free to join. The only time you have to pay for anything is if you are going to an event. And some events we could get you in for free. It's just you getting there.
And
So
you have to pay for your own alcohol at the drink. So at the event. So yeah, we can't give you the alcohol. So and can I just Gladys, can I be honest with you why we're doing this?
yes.
All right. So guys, we're doing an insiders club because we're trying to build a club of people who do what we do. And yes, we're trying to build a list. All right. With the list, we can actually find out what the list wants and we can create more of it. All right. So it's like the reason a lot of stuff is on our shows is because we ask our lists, what do you like? And we go get it. So if you're going, man, Tim, Gladys, I really wish you did this vodka on your podcast. Great. Join the Insiders Club and tell us because those are the people we listen to.
Well, somebody had told me, because I had tasted the Kirkland brand mimosa.
Oh, yeah.
By fluke, I was going, hey, this isn't too bad. They're like, oh, yeah, it's from, Costco. And I was like, this is good. Well, somebody says, oh, you need to have the margarita. They thought it was a margarita mix. Yeah. And so I got to taste it yesterday. It's actually a margarita flavored wine. And I said, this isn't a mix. This is wine. And so I tasted it and I was like, I don't know. Do you want ice in it? Sure. So I added ice to it. It was going to be on the podcast today. And I took another sip and I put it down and I'm like, I don't like it. Oh, it's giving me acid reflux.
Yeah.
With just a few sips. And it's like, well, will you take it on the podcast and say so? I said, I've tasted things, or Tim and I have tasted things on the podcast that while we are on the podcast, we are opening the bottle and we're tasting it and we go, we don't like it. That's different. If we absolutely do not like something, we are not going to put it on the podcast, So that was one that I said, nope. Well, you want to drink this? It's like, I won't drink that. It's like, oh, if you don't drink it, you want me to drink it? So I had to toss it. So I said, absolutely not. Do you have some whiskey that I can have? So.
Well, so the podcast is about us tasting things, but if we've tasted it ahead of time and we don't like it, it is not coming on the podcast. And it doesn't have to be both of us. Just one of us doesn't like it. We're not bringing it on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, little boy. Grandpa, so this is water he's drinking.
Yeah, it's not vodka. But I will tell you, Tim was a trooper when it came to Guinness beer. He did not tell me till after the fact he did not like Guinness, but because I wanted to have Guinness with shepherd's pie, he had it and he was blown away that he actually did like it with shepherd's pie. So,
well, there are stuff like that where the flavor combination, you work it. All right, hold on, Grandpa, I'll give you more. All right. The combination, when you try it with a combination, it's different. All right. And that's why I've got to balance it out. But man, there's sometimes that you're handed a bottle of vodka and I've tasted it and go, no, I'm not putting it on the podcast.
That's just tastes like
I have to mix a drink with it. And if I have to mix a drink with it, I'm not putting it on a podcast.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes it's that rubbing alcohol and it's like, no, yeah. I will tell you, I will have to rat out this bartender at the Alfond Hotel where I stayed at in Winter Park, Florida, which is northwest of Orlando. Yeah. Beautiful area. I went for a run. It was gorgeous. So I asked for an old fashioned. And normally, what do they ask when you order an old fashioned?
I'm sorry, what?
What do they normally ask when you order an old fashioned?
They want to know what cube you want in it.
That and what else?
Oh, what they want to know what bourbon?
Yes, always, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Apparently, not 100% of the time, because this 12-year-old bartender did not ask me. She's like, oh, and she walked away, and I was like, she didn't ask me. I didn't tell her, and I was like, okay, they're giving me whatever. And usually they have a decent bourbon that they're using.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching her, and then she starts pouring something from the bottom, just pulls it out, and she starts pouring. And I said, whoa, hold up. And she stopped and she looked at me. I said, what the hell is that? I was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, you are not giving me some bourbon. That's not going to work for me. Yeah. And she's like, well, what do you want? I said, well, first of all, you should have asked me before you started to pour. And so I said, I'll take this or this. We have both. Which one do you want? I picked what I wanted. And then she made me, and it was way too sweet. So it was like, I was so disappointed. I was like going, and for $22, that should have been one heck of a cocktail. Yeah. Because I've had a $22 and a $24 old fashioned that was the bomb. But I've also had a $14 old fashioned that was the bomb.
Yeah.
And this one was kind of, I would have paid $12 for it, maybe, possibly. But that's that. So anyway, shame on you, but always ask what bourbon when it comes to an old fashioned.
I just seen this card on my desk and remembered I told him I would give him a shout out. And he may find a way for us to have it on the podcast, but I met this guy Bobby from LA, Bobby's Pizzeria.
Okay. Ooh.
All right, okay. And he's known for the guy to be up late. And as he gave us his card, everybody's cards like this is marketing, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Free slice at Bobby's Pizzeria. Here's all of Bobby's information. Now I'm gonna have a conversation with Bobby because I'm probably gonna do his website. But where I told him, I said we do a podcast, and he said,
"Send us frozen pizza. We will heat it up. It's probably as delicious."
He has ways to do the frozen pizza. We may be able to pull it off. So we're always looking for those deals, by the way, ladies, where they can pull it off. They can get us both the food, both the beverage, and try it because it's a unique experience to be able to taste it on air.
Yes,
it really is. So, and it's always good to have your product on a podcast. So, and we're not sitting here because we want free stuff on our podcast. No, we are a tasting podcast.
Yeah.
So we want stuff that's unique to taste. All right. Because there's only so many times I can feature a McDonald's cheeseburger on here and sound cool.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever featured McDonald's. We have to.
McDonald's cheeseburger. I love McDonald's, but we're never going to feature a McDonald's cheeseburger on this podcast ever.
Yeah, we did White Castle one year.
We did, but those were store-bought ones. That's like,
right. The moment it got cold, it was bad. You need to eat it immediately. Yeah. So anyway, here we are.
So that was another thing I had on the trip. So other than that, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you every week by Gladys and I. Our businesses pay the bills around here. You know what I mean? We're not somebody who's out there looking for these big old fancy sponsors. It's just our companies pay the bills. This is a passion project that we do. All right. However, anything that we do sponsor wise, we actually discuss quite a bit. So we don't bring a lot of sponsors in because we have to both agree on the sponsor. We have to agree on the taste. All right. And if it's we had the one sponsor we had was Mary's Mixers for the longest time. It's because they provided us with mixers. All right. And stuff like that. We're not looking for a free handout. We're not looking for anything. We're looking to taste stuff because this is an experimental show where we taste things.
Yes.
All right. And it's an experience for us. Is why we did it, because that's why we started the podcast, was all about the experience. So, but anyway, our company's pay the bills around here, all right, every week. So we do a quick commercial for each one of our businesses. All right. We'd appreciate your support in those businesses. If you need help in those businesses, by all means, reach out to us because that's how we pay the bills. So we always start with Gladys because she is the lady here. Gladys, tell us about your business.
Hello, Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design in Oregon. I help employers become employer of choice through employee benefits because there are 101 different ways that you can attract and retain quality staff. If you want to know how to do this, you can go to Insurance Design Pros on the upper left-hand corner. You can download the white paper. This book you can find on Amazon. This goes into a little bit more detail about those 101 different ways. But you can also have a conversation with me. If you go to enrollnoworegon.com, that's my calendar link. You can get on my calendar. We can have the conversation. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Because when you're able to show your employees how much you care, guess what? They're going to stick around because they're going to know that you want them to be there by your action. So enrollnoworegon.com, Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. And this is my co-host, Tim.
Hey guys, my name is Tim Gillette. Simple Easy Websites is the business I currently run. I also have Simple Easy Marketing, where I help people and train people in marketing techniques, including how to run a podcast, things like that. But building websites has become the mainstay behind the building behind the building, right? Because everybody needs a website online. Now, I wanted to do something unique that I started doing with my networking, and that is start giving a website tip of the week. And I want to give you a website tip you probably never thought about. So many people talk about websites and they talk about first impressions. You should not be worried about a website in first impressions. They need to find you someplace else. They need to research you. All right. Your website should be the last stop. I like to say, instead of first impressions, let's make a lasting impression. a lasting impression, which makes them never forget you, never forget or never totally put out of their mind who you are and what you can do to help them. All right. We do Gladys's website as well as many other people who come on the show and watch us on a regular basis. We do their websites as well. SimplyZWebsite.com. Review it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Book a consultation with me if you want us to review your website. Or we have this neat little quiz that'll give you kind of a scorecard of where you're at with your website. SimplyZWebsite.com. I'm Tim Gillette, and thank you so much.
And Robert, we want to thank you for the memories of the Silent Sam vodka. Okay,
yeah, I've seen that in there. Oh yeah, I was going to put that up on a comment, and I didn't. Yeah,
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for always being our supporter. And we will say, he does not drink, and yet he's one of our followers. So
one of our most faithful and one of our most loyal customers. He's one of our biggest fans.
Yeah, so we appreciate him. So tell your friends, share our podcast. We're on all the channels. I always say Facebook or YouTube because you get to actually see our mugs while we make stupid, comments, and then we're showing you colors.
We broadcast on those two live. So yeah. But anyway, we will be back next week with another great episode, ladies and gentlemen. We promise. All right. Vacation time's done, or shall I say, work away from home is done. It's time to get back to drinking. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.